Welcome back. You're still watching African Perspective. Now, South African businesswoman Bridgette Motsepe says that she was never involved in any money laundering to finance a coup in Botswana, as she's been accused of. It's alleged that she'd been laundering money in efforts to remove President Mokgweetsi Masisi, whose relationship with his predecessor, former President Ian Khama, has soured. Well, she refutes being part of any plan to remove Masisi from power or to launder money from alleged regime change plots. Now, last year, when the allegations first surfaced, she said that she would ask governments of both Botswana and South Africa to launch investigations as to why she was being used in such a manner. Well, Ms. Motsepe joins us now on the line. Thanks so much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Peter. Good evening, listeners.
All right, so the last time we spoke to you about this case was in October last year, and we're now 6 months into the new year, and it's still on the table. Take us back a little bit to how you got your name involved in this.
I am not just shocked, I'm actually quite amazed that the government of Botswana would go to AfriForum to solve a matter that has to do with mutual assistance, legal mutual assistance. They wrote a letter as per the article that I read from that Gerimel gave to the Department of Foreign Affairs, who has then given that letter to the Department of Justice as per the response from Foreign Affairs in what I'm reading. And the Department of Justice, of course, is looking into this matter as per the response I read in the papers that was said by the spokesperson of the Department of Foreign Affairs. Now, if you are a government and you have some unhappiness or maybe dissatisfaction or maybe there's a confusion with another government, you know that the best route to go is to speak to the Minister of Foreign Affairs or to let your ambassador speak to the ambassador of your country in that country. And then the Foreign Affairs Department, International Relations Department, will then activate the necessary interactions with all the other government departments. Why did they go to AfriForum? Is this not going to, of course it is, create unnecessary conflict between black and white people?
All right, so I want to take a few steps back to how this case started, and then we'll start to sort of unpack it sequentially. But this is an ongoing court case that's taking place involving this woman who's been codenamed Butterfly. And I just wonder how you were brought into this story in the first place.
There's an affidavit that has been given to the courts. And this affidavit was presented by Yako Habona, who's a member of the intelligence department in Botswana. Under oath, if you look at clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, clause 4, under oath, he says that he's the person that is investigating money laundering and corruption in the country. And he also says, under oath, supporting the affidavit is the Department of Police, State Security, and Department of Intelligence. And if you look at clause 19, the whole clause 19 of the affidavit, you will see money has been stolen, and the money was stolen by me, by Belemina, who's the signatory, and I am the co-signatory. So this $10 billion, which is more than 170 billion rands, was then taken out of Botswana. Some of the money was then transferred into South Africa. If you look at clause 19.1, clause 19.2, and clause 19.7 of the affidavit, and the affidavit is public because once it's in court, anybody can get access to it. You will see that they even say our Reserve Bank of South Africa cleared $48 billion. That's more than 280 billion rand. That cleared of the money. And now this money went to 7 bank accounts in South Africa and many other bank accounts offshore in different countries. And there are 17 accounts all over the world where the money went to. Now, when this was said in October last year, I then felt compelled to go public to clear my name. I then went with the lawyer of the Lemina, and that time the poor woman who they term, whose name is Butterfly, was in jail. And she was locked up for 6 weeks. We went to ABSA, and we gave ABSA a written letter to ask for response. And ABSA was given the affidavit. Similarly, Nedbank also. Nedbank and ABSA came back. And this is what Nedbank said. And I also made it public last year. After conducting a search on our Nedbank systems, we've been unable to find any accounts in the name of Blue Flies Limited and Fireflies Limited, nor any accounts with account numbers mentioned. It therefore follows that you cannot be and are not a signatory on such non-existent accounts. I repeat, this is what Nedbank is saying. It therefore follows that you cannot be and are not a signatory on such non-existent accounts. And ABSA is saying the following after Nedbank. By way of response, this is ABSA, to the various queries containing your letter, we made the following observations. ABSA has no record of any account with designated number, and that's the number that was quoted as the bank account where the money was in. ABSA has no record of any account with a designated number. And the Bank of Botswana, the governor, was also asked by Parliament and written in the Botswana Gazette on the 26th of November 2019. The Botswana Gazette says, the governor says it's all rubbish when the parliamentarians ask him. The article continues. Briefing members of Parliament last week, that was last week after the 26th, the week before the 26th of November when it was gazetted. The governor denied any knowledge of the purported instruction and the missing 100 billion pula, saying the central bank never had that amount of money in its accounts in the first place. Botswana's gross domestic product which makes the alleged loot to be around 60% of the value of Botswana's economy. On average, Botswana's annual national budget circles between 50 billion and 60 billion, not 100 billion. So the governor says that last year, September, that there's no money stolen. Why is the government of Botswana pursuing this? And why didn't they go through the routes that they should be, through the embassies, through foreign affairs? Or why didn't they just go and search for just Dennis Davids, who was assigned by Minister Nene when he was Minister of Finance to look into illicit outflow of capital, and he has a team. Or maybe, if you wanted an individual, maybe go to the former public protector. But why go to AfriForum and make the black people and white people have an unnecessary political racial conflict? No, we're not going to allow that. President Mandela, and the former Deputy President de Klerk, they formed a government of national unity.
All right, so
and that government of national unity made us unite. So I'm saying to AfriForum and I'm saying to South Africans, let us unite against such misconduct. We should not allow this to happen.
So this signature on this account, was it forged? Is it your signature? How did that signature get there?
What ABSA said also in Nedbank is that these documents were fraudulently created. And what I did, I wrote to all the banks and attached to all the banks the affidavit that has all the stories, and I also attached to the banks all the information. And the Butterflies and President Khama's former president of Botswana, he's the one who's supposed to have taken the money to go and invest in terrorism and political unrest. So as per this affidavit. So they have been talking, they are now helping, and together with my team, Weber Wenzel, they are my legal team, and I went further. I then appointed Alako. Alako is a leading in business intelligence company that does a lot of work for the World Bank and IMF on money laundering investigations and all that. And also, I appointed Omnia, which is a company led by Mrs. Sherry Bay, to investigate. Because this money was supposed to have gone to so many countries and so many accounts. And we need a speedy investigation. I even last year said, can Interpol please investigate on television and radio? Can the Department of Police investigate? Can our Department of Intelligence investigate? I've been very, very open about the investigations that has to be happened, starting the Reserve Bank of Botswana. And if our Reserve Bank, clause 19.7 of the affidavit says, was cleared, money was cleared by our Reserve Bank, the Reserve Bank of South Africa will tell you there's nothing like that. If the Reserve Bank of Botswana says there's no money stolen, what is the Botswana government trying to achieve by doing this?
All right, so AfriForum have been suggesting that the Botswana authorities have made requisitions to South Africa for certain information and that it's been a long time coming. Have you been approached at any time by the Botswana authorities to assist in their investigation?
I've never been approached by anyone, ever, on this matter. Ever. And it would have been good for Mr. Khama now to approach me. I would have then given him all that he needed. It is not fair for a man that stood for justice, for what happened to River when she died in Oscar Pistorius' case. I'm a woman. There are two women here that are subjected to the greatest abuse. Valamina went to jail for what she never did. The court case is still continuing on the 17th of August. It's a continuation of the court case. She's on bail. My reputation has been tarnished. I've never stolen any money from anybody. And Khama now stood for justice for a very vulnerable woman who unfortunately died. We want you, Khama, now to become the person that we saw on television. Go and investigate. And whatever it is that you ask, the spokesperson of the Department of Foreign Affairs said it is in the hands of the Department of Justice, and the Department of Justice is looking into it. So can't you please ask your clients to do it right through the political protocol rules and regulations? Let them not use you and your organization to create an unnecessary instability and racial conflict. If you look at the social media and all what's going on, it's negativity. And I'm not prepared to go that route. We are a rainbow nation. Let us unite against people that are doing wrong. And please investigate, and get the truth out.
All right, so this Miss Maswabi, Wilhelmina, is in court at the moment. It will be back in August, but her case is ongoing. Have you been charged by the Botswana authorities or even summoned to appear before this court?
I've never received any charge. President Khama and Isaac Khosi are there. They've never been charged. And this is going on. The poor woman was in jail. There's a court case going on. And whatever she's going to go through, the court case affects me because whatever they say she did, I was the co-signatory of all the monies. So even I am not out of this trouble. And I've been asking all the security agencies, even Interpol, please come on board. I even went as far as getting Alako and getting Omniat involved, and whether Wenzel involved. Let this thing come to an end. I am a credible businesswoman. I fought to be where I am. It was not easy. Being a black, white woman, the laws were saying you are not allowed to go underground and produce minerals. I defied legislation. And I became the first black producer in South Africa. It was not easy. Yeah. I don't need this in my life.
Have you approached the office of the president at all in this matter? At the moment, it appears it's as if it's the national prosecutors that are forcing the issue going forward. But has the president, have you tried to approach his office to try and get him to, intercede?
I went public last year and I said I do not want family members involved because they will be my biggest liability. If I go to the president of the country, or I go to Patrice, or I go to my my spouse Radebe, they will then say it sounds like the Mark Thatcher case.
I mean the president of Botswana.
President of Botswana I met in Davos 2 years ago, and I asked, can we meet and talk about it? We were at school together at varsity. I was schooled in Botswana, and I did my university degree, and he was there. But it was never taken further.
All right. So he's aware of the case, and knowing you and knowing who you are, he's stepping back and allowing the process to continue.
if you're a president of a country and you allow AfriForum to be involved and you do not allow your ministers or your ambassadors and the procedure, the political procedure to be followed, what do you hope to achieve? Because you know, once you speak about an individual organization, you will get people that are either for it or against it. And you will get all kinds of racial conflicts. Why did you do that? As the head of the country, you are leading a credible nation. I schooled in that country. Botswana is like a second home. I've got great respect for all the citizens. And every year, all these years, the World Bank and the IMF used to laud Botswana as the best running country, and even the United Nations. But now, unfortunately, Botswana is even blacklisted by the European Union for money laundering. Why? Surely there are rules that you can follow as a politician, the political ways of doing things. If you're not happy with the ministry, maybe being slow-footed, or you're not happy with the response, why can't you phone the president of the country? Because right now, if you read any social media, you see the South Africans have now become party to this, and it will remind South Africans of what we all went through when we, during the racist regime, were denied our human rights. When we were also accused wrongly. Poor Mandela was called a terrorist for something he's never done and was locked up for 27 years in jail. And all of us, my daughter's husband also went to Robben Island. Everybody has a story to tell. Please don't provoke those negative sentiments. We formed a rainbow nation.
Do you think
so don't do that.
Do you think that you're caught up perhaps in the middle of a political or otherwise crossfire between various parties? I mean, what we know that your family has been friends with the Khamas since your father and the founding president of Free Botswana were at university together. So there's a long standing relationship. Do you think that maybe your proximity to Ian Khama may have got you caught up in this web?
But it's not just that. If you read the poor Defense Force of South Africa, the Brigadier General had to go public and issue a public statement that the South African Defense Force will not coup Botswana. So what is it that they're trying to do? And then from there they go to the AfriForum. So it's not just the thing that I'm close to Ian Khama. What is the motive of the Botswana people? Not Botswana people, but those few people in the government that are doing this. It's not the whole government. Those few people. Why are they doing that? And President Masisi, why are you allowing it? You are the leader. Isn't there a way you can pursue that was pursued by the DRC, that was pursued by all the other countries, where you ask for mediation? You have President Mokgweetsi Masisi that created this mediation. Look at where the DRC is. They stayed in our country for 2 years, if there's any political disunity between people. For 2 years at Sun City. And we solved the problem. And today the DRC is where it is, after many years of conflict. Central African Republic, South Sudan, and all those countries. We are leading in that kind of initiations. There's former President Mbeki, there's former President Kgalema Motlanthe. Why can they not ask us or us to help? Especially now that the chairperson of the African Union is the South African president. Why can they not ask for help if there is such unique unhappiness within the internal political situation, like we helped also in Zimbabwe? There are ways in which we can solve any problem, but please do not bring organizations on board that is going to create an unhappiness. And South Africans will end up not wanting to be associated with people from Botswana, and that will be not right. Botswana is a unique country. It's a beautiful nation, beautiful country.
All right, Ms. Motsepe, we're going to have to take a quick break. Please stay on the line, and we'll start wrapping up our conversation soon after.